The Serbian Despotate Serbian, Srpska despotovina was a medieval Serbian state in the first half of the 15th century. Although the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 is generally considered the end of the medieval Serbia, the Despotate, a successor of the Serbian Empire and Moravian Serbia, survived for 70 more years, experiencing a cultural and political renaissance before it was conquered by the Ottomans in 1459. Even then, it continued to exist in exile in the medieval Kingdom of Hungary until the mid-16th century. Pavle Bakić was the last despot of Serbia to be recognized by both the Ottoman and the Habsburg empires. History origins After Prince Lazar of Serbia was killed in the Battle of Kosovo on June 28, 1389, his son Stefan Lazarević succeeded him. Being a minor, his mother Princess Malika ruled as his regent. A wise and diplomatic woman, she managed to balance the Ottoman threat as the Ottoman Empire was in a turmoil after the Battle of Kosovo and the killing of Sultan Murad I. She married her daughter, Olivera, to his successor, Sultan Bayezid I. After the battle, in 1390 or 1391 depending on source, Serbia became a vassal Ottoman state, and Stefan Lazarević was obliged to participate in battles if ordered by the Ottoman Sultan. He did so in the Battle of Rovinj in May 1395 against the Wallachian Prince Mircea I and the Battle of Nicopolis in 1396 against the Hungarian King Sigismund. After that, Sultan Bayezid awarded Stefan with the majority of the Vuk Branković's land on Kosovo, as Branković sided with the Hungarian king at Nicopolis. When Timur's army entered the Ottoman realm, Stefan Lazarević participated in the Battle of Ankara in 1402, in which the Ottomans were defeated and their leader Bayezid was captured. Returning to Serbia, Stefan visited Constantinople where the Byzantine Emperor Manuel II Palaiologos granted him the title of despot. In previous years, this title would mean that the despot would rule some vassal state. However, as the Byzantine Empire was too weak to assert such a rule and Serbia was not its vassal state, Stefan Lazarević took this title as the personal style of the Serbian monarchs. Stefan Lazarević Consolidation. Already in Constantinople, Stefan had a dispute with his nephew Thrad Branković, son of Vuk Branković, who was accompanying him and was arrested by the Byzantine authorities. Thrad would later succeed Stefan. Stefan's brother Vuk Lazarević was also in his escort, and as they were returning over the Kosovo, they were attacked by the Branković army at Tripolia, near the Gračanica monastery. Vuk headed the Lazarević army, which was victorious, but reaching Novo Brdo, the brothers had a quarrel and Vuk went to the Ottoman side, to the new sultan, actually co-ruler with his three brothers, Suleiman I. Celebi. The next few years are marked by events in Stefan's personal life. He managed to liberate his sister and Bayezid's widow Olivera. In 1404 he made peace with his brother Vuk. In 1405 he married Katarina Gadaluja, daughter of Francesco II Gadaluja, ruler of the island of Lesbos. Also in 1405 his mother Malika died. In 1408 brothers disputed again and Vuk, together with Sultan Suleiman and the Branković family, attacked Stefan in early 1409. Being besieged at Belgrade, Stefan agreed to give southern part of Serbia to his brother and to accept again Ottoman vassalage. Suleiman's brother Musa rebelled against him and Stefan took Musa's side in the Battle of Kosmedion in 1410, near Constantinople. Musa's army was defeated and Suleiman sent Vuk and Thrad Branković's brother Lazar to come to Serbia before Stefan returned, but they both were captured by Musa's sympathizers and were executed in July 1410. Through Constantinople, where Emperor Manuel II confirmed his despotic rights, Stefan returned to Belgrade and annexed Vuk's lands. In 1410 King Sigismund of Hungary seized several territories in northeastern Bosnia. As a reward for Stefan Lazarevic's help and loyalty, he transferred Srebrenica with its surroundings to the Serbian Despotate in 1411 or 1412. When Musa became self-proclaimed sultan in European part of the Ottoman Empire, he attacked Serbia in early 1412 but was defeated by Stefan near Novo Brdo in Kosovo. Stefan then invited the ruler of the Anatolian part of the empire, Sultan Mehmed Celebi, to attack Musa together. Securing Hungarian help, they attacked Musa on the 5th of July 1413 at Kamerla, near the Vitosha mountain, modern Bulgaria, and defeated him, with Musa being killed in the battle. As a reward, Stefan received the town of Koprijan near Enice and the Serbian-Bulgarian area of Zanepolia. For next 12 years, Stefan remained in good relations with Mehmed, which made the recovery of medieval Serbia possible. On the 28th of April 1421, Stefan's nephew and ruler of Zeta, Balsa III, died without an heir, bequeathing before death his lands to his uncle. With this and territorial gains from the Kingdom of Hungary, Belgrade, Srebrenica, etc., Serbia restored majority of its ethnic territories it occupied before the Battle of Kosovo. In 1425, the Ottoman Empire invaded Serbia, burning and pillaging across the southern Morava Valley. At the same time, the King of Bosnia Bosnia attempted to conquer Srebrenica back from the Serbs, but failed. Despot Stefan fought back the invasion and initiated negotiations with the Sultan, after which the Ottoman troops left Serbia. Still, this attack was an ominous sign of things to come. Renaissance, the rule of the poet, thinker and artist Stefan Lazarevic, was a period of renewed artistic development in Serbia. Stefan Lazarevic himself was a poet, writing one of the major medieval Serbian literary works, Slovo Ljubva, The Word of Love, and one of the largest libraries in the Balkans at that period. Apart from political stability as a result of Stefan's ability to keep a distance from both the Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary, stability was also helped by the very rich silver mines, Srebrenica and Novo Brdo, some of the wealthiest in Europe at that time. Belgrade, at that time, became one of the largest cities in Europe, numbering over 100,000 people. Tharad Brankovic First reign. As despot Stefan had no children of his own, already in 1426 he bequeathed the despotate to his nephew, Tharad Brankovic, who succeeded him upon his death on July 19, 1427. Already the second most important figure in the despotate for the last 15 years, he was confirmed as despot by the Byzantine Emperor John VIII Palaiologus in 1429. As an immediate result of Stefan's death, Serbia had to return Belgrade to the Kingdom of Hungary, but kept Makva, as the southern wealthy cities, like Novo Brdo, were too close to the Ottomans to be declared new capitals. Tharad decided to build a new one, the magnificent fortress of Smedereva on the Danube, close to the border of the Kingdom of Hungary. Constructed 1428-30, Smedereva was a source of many future misinterpretations of the history, especially concerning Tharad's wife Jarina. With Jarina's Greek nationality and the influence her brothers had with the new despot, people began to dislike her, and attributed to her many vicious and evil characteristics, including building Smedereva for capricious reasons. In folk poetry she's been dubbed Prokleta Jarina, the damned Jarina, but none of this has been confirmed by actual historical sources. Immediately after becoming the ruler of Serbia, in the summer of 1427, Tharad was faced with the challenge of an Ottoman invasion. The Ottomans occupied Kruševac and Enice, the Dubočica region including Leskovac, and most of the Toplica region. They withdrew after unsuccessfully besieging Novo Brdo for several months. King Tvrtko II of Bosnia came into conflict with the Bosnian noble family of Zlatonosović in November 1430, over alleged cooperation between Vukašin Zlatonosović with the Serbian despotate. This conflict ended with the death of Vukašin and the complete annihilation of the Zlatonosović family, but directly led into another conflict with Serbia itself. In the spring of 1433, despot Tharad annexed parts of Uzara, together with the trade outpost Zvonik and fortress Teokake. Tharad married his daughter Katarina to Ulrich II of Celja in 1433, a close cousin of the Hungarian queen, in an effort to secure better relations with Serbia's northern neighbor, his other daughter Mara. He had to marry to Sultan Murad II. This marriage was arranged in 1433, but Tharad delayed it until 1435 when the Ottomans threatened him with invasion. After the marriage took place, Murad swore to continue the peace between the Ottoman Empire and Serbia. However, this oath would be broken 2 years later. The Ottoman Empire invaded and started pillaging inside Serbia's borders in 1437. Tharad negotiated an unfavorable peace with the Sultan by giving him the town of Branikeva. In 1438 the Sultan attacked again. This time, the despot had to let them seize Zdirelo and Visave. The peace that followed was no longer than the previous one. Temporary Ottoman occupation. In 1439 the Ottoman army, headed by the Sultan Murad II himself, again attacked and sacked Serbia. Despot Tharad fled to Hungary in May 1439, leaving his son Grigor Brankovic and Jarina's brother Thomas Kantakozinos to defend Smedereva. After 3 months of siege, Smedereva fell on August 18, 1439, while Novo Brdo resisted conquest for 2 entire years, falling on June 27, 1441. At that point the only free part of the despotate that remained was Zeta. The latter, however, was soon attacked by the Venetians and by Voivode Stefan Vicic Kosaka. The last of Tharad's cities in the region were conquered in March 1442. The first Ottoman governor of Serbia was Ishak Beg, who in 1443 was replaced by Isa Beg Isakovic. Tharad Brankovic restored. In Hungary, Tharad Brankovic managed to talk Hungarian leaders into expelling the Ottomans, so a broad Christian coalition of Hungarians, under John Hunyadi, Serbs, under despot Tharad, and Romanians, under Vlad II Dracul, advanced into Serbia and Bulgaria in September 1443. The large Christian army that crossed the Danube in early autumn of 1443 was made up of around 25,000 soldiers from Hungary and Poland, over 8,000 Serbian cavalry and foot soldiers, and 700 Bosnian horsemen. Serbia was fully restored by the Peace of Szeged on August 15, 1444. Its borders were the same as before 1437, with the exception of the southern part of Zeta, which remained under Venice, and Fort Golubac, which was returned to Serbia even though it was lost much earlier, in 1427. King Tomas of Bosnia started another war with despot Thurad in 1446 and managed to take Srebrenica. However, in September 1448, the Bosnians were defeated by a Serbian army led by Thomas Kantakozinos, who reconquered Srebrenica and also took Visegrad. The new Ottoman Sultan, Mehmed II, who would later be called the Conqueror, returned the regions of Toplica and Dubovcica to Serbia in 1451 as a token of goodwill. On that occasion, Mehmed II and Thurad negotiated the prolonging of their peace treaty. Without formally declaring an end to the peace treaty, Sultan Mehmed II invaded Serbia in mid-July 1454. Much of central Serbia fell, but the capital was well prepared, and the Ottomans, upon hearing that Hunyadi will cross the Danube to reinforce the Serbs, soon lifted their siege of Smedereva. The Sultan retreated back to Sofia with loot and slaves, leaving most of his army at Kruševac, but these successes only bought some time. Nicholas Kobaljic's resistance, which due to his army's low numbers came to be respected by the Turks themselves, was crushed by another Ottoman force on November 16 and he was executed. In the early spring of 1455, the Sultan continued his invasion of Serbia. This time, the Ottomans focused on taking southern Serbia first. Novo Brdo was besieged with heavy cannons and fell on June 1, 1455, after 40 days of resistance. The rest of southern Serbia was occupied soon after that. At the same time, despot Thurad was trying to convince the Hungarians to launch another crusade, but returned empty-handed to Smedereva. In early 1456, he accepted a peace treaty with the Sultan, and southern Serbia remained in Ottoman hands. A few months after the peace treaty, the Ottoman Empire attacked again. Both Smedereva and Belgrade, which were the primary target of the Turks, successfully resisted, but the countryside was devastated even further. Despot Thurad Brankovic died on December 24, 1456. Lazar Brankovic Despot Lazar Brankovic, the only one of Thurad's sons not to be blinded by the Ottomans, succeeded his father. Sensing that Serbia is too weak to defeat a future Ottoman incursion on the battlefield, he managed to make a deal with Sultan Mehmed II on January 15, 1457. According to this deal, he was granted back most of his father's lands and a promise that Serbia will not be disturbed by the Ottomans until Lazar's death. Lazar in turn had to pay a tribute, which was reduced because he no longer had the rich mines of Novo Brdo. Immediately after death of their mother Jarina on May 3, 1457, the younger generation of the Brankovic family broke out in a conflict of succession. Seeking rights for his bastard son Vuk, blind Grigor Brankovic fled to the Ottoman Empire, together with Mara and Thomas Kantakozinos. Lazar's brother, blind Stefan Brankovic, took his side and stayed with him. Despot Lazar suddenly died on January 20, 1458. Regency and Stefan Brankovic As despot Lazar Brankovic had no sons, a three-member regency was formed after his death. It included Lazar's brother, the blind Stefan Brankovic, Lazar's widow Helena Palaiologine and Grand Duke Mihailo Andelevic. Mihailo Andelevic, whose brother was the Ottoman Grand Vizier Mahmud Pasha Andelevic, began to plot with the Ottomans behind the backs of Stefan and Helena. In March, he brought a small detachment of Ottoman soldiers into Smedereva to reinforce his own bid for the despotate, but the soldiers unexpectedly raised the Ottoman flag on the ramparts and started shouting the Sultan's name. The enraged citizens of Smedereva rose up against Andelevic on March 31, taking him prisoner and capturing or killing most of the Ottoman detachment. Stefan Brankovic, who was proclaimed the new despot, together with Helena Palaiologine, took control of Smedereva and the despotate. During the chaos that surrounded Lazar's death and the split in the provisional regency, King Stefan Tomas of Bosnia attacked the despotate's holdings west of the Drina River and conquered most of them, leaving only Teokake in the despotate's hands. Mihail Salagyi likewise seized most of Lazar's towns north of the Danube. Immediately after Mihailo Andelevic's failed coup, the Ottomans began another invasion of Serbia. Although they would not make any significant territorial gains until 1459, this was the beginning of the end for the Serbian despotate. Stefan Brankovic ruled until the 8th of April 1459, when he was overthrown by a plot between Helena Palaiologine and King Tomas, whose son briefly ruled as the new despot. Saint Japan Tomasevic and fall of the despotate Saint Japan Tomasevic lost two countries to the Ottomans, Serbia in 1459 and Bosnia in 1463. His appointment as new despot was highly unpopular but pushed hard by his father, King Saint Japan Tomas of Bosnia. By this time Serbia was reduced to only a strip of land along the Danube. Sultan Mehmed II decided decided to conquer Serbia completely and arrived at Smederevo. The new ruler did not even try to defend the city. After negotiations, Bosnians were allowed to leave the city and Serbia was officially conquered by Turks on June 20, 1459. Despotate in exile. In 1404, Hungarian King Sigismund lent parts of Sirmia, Banat and Bačka to Serbian despot Stefan Lazarević for governing, later succeeded by Tharad Branković. The residence of the despots was Kupanik, modern Kupinovo. The despots were Vuk Gregorović, 1471 to 1485, Thorda Branković, 1486 to 1496, Jovan Branković, 1496 to 1502, Ivaniz Berislavic, 1504 to 1514, Saint Japan Berislavic, 1520 to 1535, Radik Bozic, 1527 to 1528, Zapolya factions Pretender, and Pavla Bakic, 1537. Stephen Berislavic moved in 1522 to Slavonia, since Kupanik was seized by the Ottoman forces. State administration. In the Serbian Despotate, there were several noble offices with important duties and roles in the state's central administration, under the despot as the monarch and chief authority. Grand Logothete, Veliki Logotet, a title originally used by the Byzantine Empire, adopted by the Old Kingdom of Serbia, and retained by the Despotate. The Grand Logothete was the head of the despot's chancellery, responsible for overseeing the central administration. The Grand Logothete was also the only person, other than the despot and the Serbian Patriarch, to have certain jurisdictions over church matters. Luka, Bogdan, Vojna, Manojla, Bogdan, Todor, Stefan Rotković, 1457 to 59, Grand Voivode, Veliki Vojevoda, the second highest-ranking military commander in the state, under the despot himself but with more power and prestige than ordinary voivodes. Radoslav Mihaljevic, Dimitar Krajkovic, Mihailo Andelevic, 1456 to 58, Marko Altamanovic, Grand Selnik, Veliki Selnik, a title with wide-ranging competencies in judicial and other civilian matters, executing the ruler's decrees and representing the ruler in events such as settling territorial disputes between estates. The title of the Grand Selnik was roughly equivalent to the Western European title of Comes Palatinus. Vuk Kuvit, HRE Belgian, Radek, FL, 1428 to 1433, Mihailo Andelevic, c. 1445, Tharad Golamuvic, Protovestiar, Protovestijar, another Byzantine court title, Protovestiarios, adopted by the Old Kingdom of Serbia. The Protovestiar was responsible for state finances, including supervision of revenues and expenses and fiscal policy. After the first fall and liberation of Serbia in 1444, the title of Protovestiar disappeared and his role was taken over by the treasurer, Serbian, Riznikar, or Selnik Rizniki, a title previously associated with the management of the ruler's personal treasury. Ivan, FL, 1402, Bogdan, FL, 1407 to 13, Nikola Rodop, FL, 1435, Paskoj Serkachevic, after 1444, Radoslav, after 1444, territorial organization. In 1410, despot Stefan Lazarević enacted an administrative reform dividing the territory of the despotate into districts. A district was called a vlast, Serbian Cyrillic, and each vlast was governed in the despot's name by a voivode. This reform, made necessary by the increasing threat of Turkish invasion, gave those voivodes an authority over both civilian and military matters in their respective districts. The vlasts were retained by the despotate until its fall. Documents have been preserved about the vlasts in Smederevo, Novo Brdo, Nekudum, Ostrovica, Golubac, Boric, Petrus, Lepenica, Kruševac, Zdirelo, west of the Dina. There were four vlasts, Tiokake, Tiznica, Zvonik and Srebrenica. After its incorporation into the Serbian Despotate in 1421, Zeta was organized as a single large vlast, with its voivode seated in Bar, later moving to Podgorica, 1444, and finally Medun. Next to nothing has been preserved about the number and size of other vlasts within the Despotate. Rulers of the Serbian Despotate. See also Smederevo Fortress, Serbian Empire, Tsar Dušan, History of Serbia, Serbia in the Middle Ages. Notes. References. Mala Prosvetina Encyclopedia, 3rd edition, 1985. Prosveta, ISBN 86-07-00001-2, Dušan Spasic, Alexander Polavestra, Dušan M. Ardenovic, Radislavna Tbilisi Igr Bovi Srpskih Dynastiha I Vlastela, 2nd edition, 1991, Bada, ISBN 86-7685-007-0, Vladimir Korovic, Ilustrovana Istoria Srba, Volume 3, 2006, Politika NM and Narodna Konjiga, ISBN 86-331-2525-0, NK, Denis P. Hupchik, The Balkans, From Constantinople to Communism, Palgrave Macmillan, ISBN 1-4039-6417-3, 2006, ISBN 86-17-12911-5.